Hi, Timothy Ross here. Just reviewing a book I picked up through my course I just finished, Certified Executive Advisor. Book was written by Greg Barnsdale, who was a funeral director, and financial insider. Practical advice: do not ignore your immortality. So, some of the highlights I addressed in this book, I think were quite good. It's not also our responsibility to plan for the end of our own lives, to ultimately make it easier for those we love. Yes, it is. And it takes courage to face your mortality, and it takes focused action to put prudent strategies into place. Your reward will be less stress, stronger relationships, and greater peace of mind. Having your affairs in order is one of the most unique gifts of love you can give. The nurturing process fills you with the calm that will permeate every aspect of your remaining life. And the messages in this book will remind you of the delicate nature of life. Book's broken down into 5 different chapters. First one's Communication is Key, Will Planning, Funeral, Cremation, and Burial Planning, Estate Planning, 101, Power of Attorneys, and Healthcare Directives. First chapter talks about communication is key. There's a quote, Benjamin Franklin: "If you would not be forgotten as soon as you are dead, either write something worth reading or do something worth writing." So, that's a pretty good start. And this book is definitely something worth reading. So, at some point, you can be guaranteed that your body will shut down regardless of the plans you have scheduled. Death affects us all. And as you read, remember that many people did not survive yesterday, and many others will not get through today. Let that sink in. Almost 2,000 years ago, Marcus Aurelius said, "When you wake in the morning, think of the precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Like many other things, this awareness is easy to take for granted. Most people do not have their affairs in order. And clearly there is a need for people to be more adequately prepared for end-of-life events and incapacity. There's a significant gap between those good intentions of getting organized and following through effectively. The vital task is easily put off, and the statistics confirm that planning often never takes place. And frankly, many people simply do not know where to start in the process. It all begins with communication, though. There's a cold definition about estate planning. And the definition really should be updated to be more inclusive of our relationships with those we love. This would make a significant difference. Ultimately, the theme of estate planning has taken on a predominantly financial focus, but it's not all about the money. It is more about harmony. When people are dying, it is those they love and hold dear whom they want nearby. It is not their money or prized possessions that give them comfort in their final hours. The strength of our relationships is vital, and this is primarily the result of effective and open communication. The term estate planning should be replaced with legacy planning. And remember, you will leave a footprint. The remainder of your legacy surviving you is inspiring and hopeful. Its impact you will have made on others that outlive you. It's your responsibility to let others know what you want to happen after you die. Several, however, were open to the idea and agreed to a detailed analysis of the financial impact of death would cause. This was from inquiring. Many cases involve the support of young women or young children come to mind. These are often instances where communication and proactive planning would have made a big difference in creating greater security for those survivors. The reality is many people simply do not have enough insurance to provide adequate support for their family if death were to strike or a critical illness or disability should occur. Investing in good quality life insurance can be cost-effective and relatively easy. Good insurance is like a parachute. It seems of little value until you need it. The unnecessary frustration, anguish, additional time, wasted money, and destroyed legacies can be eliminated mainly by open dialogue and appropriate planning long before death occurs. He's seen the positive results of this thoughtful planning firsthand, resulting in less stress, increased peace of mind, and ultimately a healthier grieving experience for survivors. Far too many people do not understand what happens after death. Here's a simple truth. When no planning has taken place in advance, it is harder for your family in several ways. Without clear instructions, they will not know what to do. You'll be forcing them to deal with many unfamiliar challenges, mainly due to government involvement. You may be setting up your loved ones to fight amongst themselves, pay more for your money to the government, cause bitter memories, which could have been avoided by completing your planning while you were alive. It will likely be a highly emotional time, and a well-organized estate can take 6 months or longer to settle all the details. On the other hand, an unorganized mess can take much longer to finalize and creates numerous problems. The time to communicate your end-of-life wishes with those you love is long before anything happens. The best time to discuss those topics is when things are normal, health is stable, minds are clear, and time is plentiful. And as you read through his book, you'll find that you are likely thinking of your particular situation. If you're not, you should be. Would your survivors know what you would want to happen if you died last night? Or who is to do what? Don't be overwhelmed by these things. Be grateful you still have these meaningful legacy conversations with those you love. Letting someone close to you know where you record your online passwords is a relatively easy thing to do and is often overlooked. It can eliminate all kinds of frustration for a survivor. Effective planning helps to ensure your final wishes will be carried out the way you want to be. And that can be very satisfying. We know that our absence will be felt by those we love, yet all we need to do is plan. Our ultimate exit will therefore be easier. I suggest you consider help doing this so that help reduce your stress and enhance your overall peace of mind. There's only a few things any of us can control, but what can be managed is what we do to make our lives better. It's been proven that planning for what we want to happen as we age and exit actually reduces the stress of growing older. Remember, funerals are for the living, not the dead. And the same concept applies to men being inclined to discuss their final wishes. Men don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about their health. Inheritance issues can be incredibly challenging topics to discuss. A growing number of estate and legacy planning specialists are recommending the concept of a family meeting. During the planning process, this allows the will maker an opportunity to explain his or her wishes to family members, describing how the estate will be distributed and address any concerns that come up. It's important to note that treating children fairly regarding an inheritance does not necessarily mean treating them equally. There are several factors. Treating those children who have committed themselves to work in a family business, a common scenario where an unequal inheritance may be justified, or those providing ongoing personal care to an aging loved one is another typical scenario where things become unequal. Beware of superstitions. Sometimes superstitions hold people back from doing what they should. When he was working in the funeral industry, he witnessed the effects of superstition somewhat frequently. You must have a willingness to discuss things. There's no doubt that effective communication fosters better relationships. Effective communication, therefore, is also a priority regarding end-of-life planning. Your desire to carefully plan needs to be strong as your love of family. Do not let procrastination get in your way. This planning is a unique gesture of love and openness for those closer to you. Facing one's mortality and feeling appropriate emotions of sadness, anger, and fear can give greater meaning to life and make it even more precious. This awareness also places one's experience in perspective and helps to avoid trivializing one's existence. More people need to realize the gravity of this. Accept the fact that no one lives forever. That's fundamental. As Eckhart Tolle stated, realize deeply that the present moment is all you will ever have. We should never assume we are too young, too healthy, or too busy to avoid dealing with our mortality. Talking with those you love about your final wishes will not result in your death occurring any sooner. Having those discussions sometimes takes time to get to. Sometimes the timing's not right. And when you do get to them, sometimes you need to have some talking points to get around some of the tough topics. And here's some icebreakers that are listed in the book. I've been thinking more about my life and how I would want to be remembered. How will you remember me? If I died last night, who do you think would be best prepared to sort everything out? Did you know that planning around our eventual death reduces the stress of growing older? Did you know many people die without having a will in place? Do you know what happens when someone dies without a will? And the bottom line, if you die without a valid will, the government has won for you, and your wishes will be totally ignored. Number 2, consider your final wishes and communicate such with those you love while your mind is clear and you have the opportunity. 3, give regular thought to the legacy you want to leave behind. Engage knowledgeable, trusted advisors to obtain the most appropriate guidance for your situation. Getting your affairs in order will not result in your death any sooner. So those are the 5 bottom lines. Anyway, that's the end of chapter 1. I hope you get a chance to read the whole chapter on your own. There's some very good information there. Thank you.